Hello everybody and welcome to our first game of episode 4 King of the Hill season 3. We have here, after a fantastic week 3 performance, we'll say that, Nicko, who is currently playing OKW on the south side of Novgorod. And his competitor today is one of the biggest COH2 1v1 player names at the moment. He was the winner of the Grand Championship Series 2. And he is currently going to be playing Soviets, so a bit of a difference. Last week we saw a lot of the USF, hardly anything from Austin, but this is going to be an awesome matchup. Two really good 1v1 players. So we just had a little bit of a talk before this game about the map. We talk a little bit how the VPs spread, you know, very evenly across the center of the map, right at the edges where the resources are. So players, of course, they're going to be moving out to the sides of the map. The cutoffs are near the center. The cutoffs, of course, will deny those resources. So a lot of potential map play strategies for new players coming into this map to utilize. It's going to be messy, 100% sure of that. And here you just see Talisman is one of these players. I mean, right from the start, look at this. He's actually just taking the time to wire off little barrels of fuel like this, because he absolutely doesn't want to give any advantage to Nicko whenever Nicko comes up this side of the map. So making use of every single second you get in an RTS game is really important, and Talisman is a really good player to watch for that. That being said, of course, same thing for Nicko. He's making sure that all of these frontline engagements can have access to green cover positions which benefit him. And I would just say, actually, of course, Talisman has gone for the scout car at the start, so he didn't go for that second engineer. He's quite slow to the field, that means, so less in terms of resources, but with his scout car, has managed to get his first squad, the Penal Battalion, in. And of course, always with the Soviets, whenever you go for this strategy of getting something from the tier 1, it's slow to the field, but when you do start to stack things up, it's a very powerful army to have on the field, and in the right hands, which it absolutely will be. It can be a pretty formidable foe. And here's these early engagements. The scout car, of course, negating the medium cover there just by flat out crushing it. And he's going to be making use of the pintle machine gun on front of the scout car and the penal battalions firing from the back. So it really is a 360-degree death ball unit. And really good from Talisman. He knows that the light arms fire really isn't going to be causing him any problems. And he's able to just use this to just push the models away. Really nice. Actually, Nicko's forced to go for the Raketten to counter this. I think Nicko actually respects that this is a very powerful unit for Talisman to wield without a counter on the field. There it is now. Let's have a look at Talisman at the moment, making his way over to the right-hand side with his second squad of penal battalions. And this is a great way to play Soviets. Really, you know, Nicko did the right thing, taking as much territory as he could with OKW at the start. And for Talisman to get his map control back, he's played the map absolutely as we expected. He's going to go for that cutoff point that denies territory, of course, though on this map, the VP itself connects territory together. There's that big shot from the Raketten. Huge hit, takes 3 of the engineers down as well. Talisman was not expecting that. And of course, all this decapping work that Talisman just did doesn't mean a thing because of that victory point in the center. Of course, the decap here should deny everything, and Talisman is taking control of the fuel from himself, so actually may be able to link up double fuel. And double fuel for the Soviets is really good. We're probably looking at that early T70 for Talisman. Of course, he's already got the tier 1 up. He's only got to build the tier 3. Which I think is not far away now. Plus 33 fuel income per minute, you know, potentially, you know, just minutes away from that T70 hitting the field. Of course, he is now going to have to be careful of the Recon, and he did upgrade the flamethrower on his engineer, so he's not going to have mine detection, just in case Nicko is laying down mines. We see here, actually, mine detectors on the Stern Pioneers. Sometimes that means, a lot of the time that means a player has actually put a mine down, but not for Nicko, not yet. Just such great capping from Talisman, really. As soon as Nicko went over to the right-hand side, Talisman is just making sure he controls the strategic cutoff. Very, very few resources coming in from Nicko, and as he tries to connect fuel through the north, there is a response. Of course, the engineers there can confront this assault. They can burn any units in cover with the flamethrower, and then the Penal Battalions are going to be able to take the mid and long range engagements for that. This is a really good fight for Talisman so far. Could also claim 3 VPs, which at the start of a game is it's very, very strong showing. This is one of the cool things about having new maps. So of course, Novgorod, this map, is going to catch a lot of players off guard. Highly recommended that anybody participating in this event does go and download the maps, like play them, maybe get some friends together and explore it. Because if you know this map better than your opponent, you're going to have a great time on here. Bit of a late retreat by the Penal Battalions. They may take another model as they cross negative cover on the road. Stern Pioneers, you'd really hope they get that one more model. Yes, they do. And actually, Talisman may have been lucky to get away with that one model. Nicko, of course, is such a fighter. He can be in a terrible terrible, not lump so many words today, terrible map position at one moment. And he's just straight back on the field. He's gone for the mechanized regiment, so he's going to be bringing a Luke's on the field. And he has a good advantage to do that because, of course, Talisman hasn't begun building tier 3 yet. Talisman doesn't have tier 2, so there's really no AT presence. Beautiful. Talisman, once again, he's going to go for that cutoff. Keep denying the opponent's resources. Really smart play. I think here on this building, it's actually not a line of sight for the Penal Battalion to fire out here. So again, kind of knowing the map there is really important. In fact, that would allow the Volksgrenadier to run up and get an incendiary grenade on that house if he wanted to. Here's that big cutoff again, but here's the first arrival of the Lukes, and that's the retreat for Talisman. Sensible, because of course the Lukes would be able to chase the Penal Battalion back to base. As this unit's dominant on the field, tier 3 was built by Talisman there. Nearly has the manpower to pop that T-70. We should see that straight away. There it is. But really, there's going to be a minute long window of effectiveness for this Panzer II to do a lot of work. Saw a mine there from Talisman wipe a few models of the squad. Nicko does have the minesweepers, so going to need to make sure that he's utilizing that unit to scout the map now. It's great game sense from Nicko. He made the retreat on that in good time, knowing that these squads are kind of marauding around the western side of the map, waiting to pick up those retreats after the mines have gone off. And this is nice. I mean, actually, between these two players, we're really seeing the kind of phases of gameplay that you get from the factions. We've already seen the dominance of the OKW early game, you know, flipped by a good strategy from Talisman with the scout car, turned on its head again. Both players are kind of really utilizing their faction's window strength. And Nicko there, you just heard bringing on another Recon at the site of that T-70. He's going for a big manpower army as well, putting a lot of Volksgrenadiers on the field. And he absolutely has to have those for the capping strength, bringing those resources in, letting OKW get better units as the resources stack. Here's the first Recon. Do we have the second one nearby? No. Good play from the Lukes, actually, getting on the retreat path of the Penal Battalion. Pretty solid game so far. If you didn't catch, by the way, Talisman has gone for armored assault tactics as his commander choice. That gives him the radio intercept. It's normally important to call this out because radio intercept is really important at the start of the game. It's what's allowed Talisman to know what units are coming onto the field. So Talisman would have actually known that the Recon was on the field when he lost his scout car earlier this game. So either maybe wasn't paying attention or just didn't mind. Penal battalions. I wonder what the plan is here. Volksgrenadiers. Get into the house. Here comes the satchel charge. And has Nicko noticed? He has. It's a good way to waste your opponent's resources. Talisman, I think, may have been better off if he tried to time that satchel charge. T-70 is just taking repairs as they're going to come back onto the field. Just really good to see from Nicko. He's done such a good job of managing the infantry, and Penal Battalions are strong. Of course, what he's done is forced 2 squads of Penal Battalions to upgrade to the PTRS, which reduces their anti-infantry capabilities. So actually, Nicko holds a pretty strong infantry advantage on the field right now. There is an engagement happening on the west of the map, which looks like Volksgrenadiers just hit the retreat button. Of course, we're going to be watching this T-70 as the Lukes takes near critical health there. Deflects a shot. And Talisman isn't prepared to push it because, of course, the Recon is there. Can we see another shot?
Ready to deploy.
No, we cannot. So Nicko investing quite a bit in the mechanized regiment. He's brought out the Panzer II. Now he's got the Puma. So he couples himself with very mobile anti-infantry and anti-vehicle units. Such an even game so far, really. Of course, this line is a bit distorted as OKW, you can see, starts way ahead of other factions. It's the goal here, though. The Puma smells blood, follows the trail right back into the base. Talisman was not expecting that. Fortunately, it's an abandon. And Nicko tries to get the ground attack shot. In fact, he is going for it again. There's no upgrade. Talisman could probably just throw a satchel here anyway. They're trying to get the Penal Battalions back, but I'm not sure what good it's going to do. T-70 finally goes down. This is one of the danger situations here when you get too close to those Penal Battalions. He's trying to move it back into the Penals. He gets it. Great play by Nicko. Beautiful, taking advantage of the satchel charge. Talisman not paying attention. And that is a great way to make use of a bad situation. Nicko here is going to bring out another Lukes. He knows the advantage that he's got now with the T-70 taken down. He's either going to force Talisman into playing another T-70, or Talisman's going to have to do something a little more special. And there was the finish up, by the way, on the Lukes. That was from the Penal Battalion with the PTRS. So that's really important for Talisman, by the way. Picking up that Lukes kind of brings him back into the game a little bit. But he's not out. He is far from out. He's winning on the VPs by a pretty decent margin. This engagement is so risky for Talisman because this is a low health squad and the Lukes is going to chase that for sure. Western VP right now. Again, PTRS. Penal battalions. Not going to be as effective now with that upgrade. This Talisman does have 4 of them. Oh, I think we're seeing infiltration grenades here from Nicko, which means of course he has gone for a commander choice. It's going to be Special Operations Doctrine. Late game Command Panther. Another potentially bad retreat for Talisman. A low health squad of penal battalions. It just isn't anything to defend against this. They might make it back into the base though. The turret of the Lukes was targeting a trailing model. That is so lucky for Talisman. And of course, as we see that army composition of Talisman falling, he is starting to lose a lot of the map control now. Puma's leaning in, getting some coaxial MG damage off against the infantry. Just building up that VP presence in the center. Making sure he locks down completely. What a turnaround. What a great turnaround. Nicko's going to go for that second Luke's combination again. So he's actually very committed to this build. That was just terrible. Terrible from Talisman. Not sure what the goal was with that. He's losing too many units now. I thought that maybe we were seeing tier 4 go up in his base before, but actually that isn't happening. It looks like at this rate we may see call-ins for the IS-2. You're just seeing there, he's trying to get the Puma. Not a bad shout, because if he does, it's a good pickup. Knows that Nicko's likely to reinvest that fuel in this build again, so... But just look at the map right now. Absolute sea of red. Triple cap about to come in. Double the high munitions points. Plenty of strategic points for a high boost of fuel. Here's those special operations flares. They're just outside of, you can see here what Nicko sees, so he has really good vision right now on what Talisman's got. He's going to know that he can make a pretty good push into the base here. Oh, Nicko, great calculation. Great calculation. He knew he could stay in that fight and pressure one of the penal battalions away rather than hit the retreat button. The reverse button rather immediately. There's the tier 4. So tier 4 has now gone up. T-34 85.
We are losing territory.
So it's going to be a really good unit, and very fortunately Talisman with a great VP dominance in the early game. He's still ahead in VPs at the moment, so he's got time. Definitely has time.
Ready to move.
We just see Nicko making use of every second that he has. Now he's going for the base defenses. Insult to injury, really. Here it is. And see how the Lukes decides it deals with this. Actually, first shot from the T-34-85 is going to be on the infantry. A lot of work has to be made here. And I think we see from Nicko the Pumas coming up. Great opportunity for Puma to utilize the sight that's given from the Volksgrenadiers and take those long-range shots, hoping for the penetrations. And of course, increase the veterancy. This is the unit that is potentially going to save Talisman, so how he uses this is going to make or break this game. Command tanks have reached that front. Deploy as needed. We're seeing the first Lukes go down. Want to make sure that he stops the vehicle there, which he does successfully. Raketans are there to support. Volksgrenadiers are coming in for a Faust. Good movement by Talisman though. He rides the reverse button, taking the safest route that he can. He's got the penal battalions there to defend, but actually Nicko's going to try and come round for the Faust still. The Puma's not there to finish, but two Fausts I think may have a chance at dealing some damage. Nevertheless, that is the kind of play that we need to see from Talisman at this point. Look at this. Nicko's got so many resources that every time Talisman gets in this building, it's either infiltration grenades, incendiary grenades, and there's two squads. It's been very well managed. And Luke's here, so cheeky. Sees the PTRS squad retreating and knows he can bully the squad that doesn't have PTRSs. He's picking up other squads that come back on the retreat from the western side of the map. And good play from Nicko as he sits on this strategic cutoff, denying Talisman his resources. Talisman, of course, has taken one of the VPs. This is a really good play from him. Making sure that that VP bleed doesn't put him out of the game before he has a chance to make a comeback. What a comeback it will be as well. Priority now for Talisman is really to get some fuel in the bank and try and get another one of these T-34-85s out. This unit has so much work to do. Oh, this is great. Really, really great. The PTRSs may be able to finish off the Panzer II Lukes there. They do. Now you've got the flamethrowers on the engineers, burning the Volksgrenadiers out of that garrison. T-34-85 is going to get repaired and then is back on the field. So Talisman working up that strategy. He's also going to cap the VP on the right-hand side. Attention to detail in the VP game. Crucial. And I'm not convinced that Talisman has lost this yet. Great game so far, really. Although, as you can see, Nicko's got a few more kills to his name. Play here is good. Again, T-34-85 coming for support. He's taking the engineers with the flamethrower to try and burn the Volksgrenadiers out of the garrison. You see the Raketan there is sneaking up, and Nicko, of course, going for the infantry suppression in the MG-34. Just good play all around. You really see that Talisman has a great sense of where that Raketan is at any moment. He's more than happy to trade a little bit with the Puma because he's got PTRSs in the houses, but a late retreat from this Vet 3 engineer. This has a heightened repair speed. So this unit really needs to be kept alive. I think you just heard that the Command Panther's coming on the field. And that is a big problem for Talisman. Of course, he can go toe-to-toe with the Puma, but fighting up against the Command Panther be a bit more tricky. And there we go, we can see it's been sighted immediately. Nicko is just so content to sit on these points because he's got such close access to these strategic cutoffs. This is the dominant place to be. See Talisman, I'm not sure what he's roaming around here for. I think he's just constantly trying to spread Nicko's forces from the stronghold in the center. We are seeing more suppression platforms on the front lines too. The Command Panther itself can hold a front line. Things being made very, very difficult for Talisman. There's that shot from the Command Panther. He's going in. I think his best bet, of course, what he's trying to do here is go in, do some damage, come back and repair, and then try again.
Heavy machine gun team ready for battle.
Not really sure if Nicko's maybe giving Talisman a bit too much time here. You can see the map is starting to be recaptured. Little by little. Mine about to go off there from Nicko. That's really good. It also gives him the heads up that units are coming from that side. Also gives a nudge to Talisman that he really needs to be running engineers with minesweepers ahead. And this is great play. He makes his way around the MG34. He scouts out the 2 Rickettons and goes in with the T-34-85. He's able to clear the suppression platform on that side. PTRSs are pushing away the Command Panther, which stop any resistance to the T-34-85 play on this side. And Talisman's managed to open up another avenue. Here's the special operations flares. Puma, I think, is going to go for some kind of play. This is danger zone for Talisman. He may have been a little bit too content to stay at that part of the map. Fortunately, the Puma misses the shot. It deflects, and a great satchel means that that Puma has gone down. T-34-85 is going to go back to the base and get some repairs. And these are all really, really good plays from Talisman. Timing is absolutely perfect. He just had a few bad opportunities. But Talisman is absolutely showing how if you continue to play, if you continue to make opportunities, eventually you will start getting bigger opportunities and better map control. You'll start getting his resources back. Of course, one of the other things that we're seeing is Nicko is forced now to go for his tier 4, and this is dangerous. Really dangerous. That T-34-85 will likely get repaired and go for that Command Panther. Cracking first game in this episode. Really happy to see these 2 amazing players who are really bringing on a good show. Talisman, of course, T-34-85 has sprung into action. You can see Nicko's actually bringing the Rickettons. He's set up, and I think actually the positioning is bad. When Talisman sees that, he'll likely know that the Command Panther is still over that side of the map. He'll know that the Rickettons have been there for defense, and actually Talisman, I think, making a smart play, would continue to push forward. Good MG34 position in the center, making sure that the VPs are nailed down. And of course Talisman has dropped down to below 100. So there really is an urgency to get on the field. And of course Stern Pioneers with the support package going to have an increased repair speed. So the Command Panther is now fully operational. I really have to say that the play from Talisman's been fantastic, that Nicko has just been more consistent across this entire game. We're coming close to the 50 VP mark now, and Talisman is having to go for an AT gun because he sees no other way of pushing the Command Panther away and perhaps dropping some barrages on the MG position. He's got no other form of indirect fire, which is troublesome for him trying to clear out the center. More mines being placed, actually. In fact, those Stern Pioneers may want to move, because if the mine gets triggered there by the T-34-85, as it did, that being said, more mines have gone off, and immediately we're going to see that Command Panther spring into action, make its way over to the other side of the field. This is going to be the end for Talisman. I don't think there is any route out of this. Fox Grenadiers going to manage to deal with this AT gun. Wondering why we don't just see any kind of satchel, really. The Talisman, even just forcing the Command Panther to move would be really useful here. Of course, T-34-85 did go down then. And actually he was trying to tech up to the PTRSs so that he could get that vehicle snare satchel. But it's going to be less than 10 VPs. I'm pretty sure that Nicko has won this and is going to remain king. It's a really good effort by Talisman. Some great play.
Radio silence has been lifted. Units are now visible.
But yes, Nicko is just that good. He's just that good at Company of Heroes. GG.